Triple graphics intro. Let's go. We're coming off a nice week 1 where all the good chalk got home and the boys are richer because of it. The boys are richer because of it. Sort of, maybe. But we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go through a couple of lineups. We'll talk about, let's not be results oriented. We're not a results oriented show here. We're smarter than that. We're sharper than that. The results don't matter. We'll go through, confirm some of our priors, and talk through some of our lineups here. I guess I should have gone maybe full screen here. We're still learning the ropes. All right, what's up, boys? Nez, Numi, what's good?
What's happening?
Yeah, not too much. Vikings win. It's a good day.
Good day.
Hey, Steelers win, but lose JJ, so I can't even be excited about it.
Man, they did everything they could to not win, though. That's for
They
sure.
sure did. I hurt my groin yesterday jumping around, just like being so excited during the game. But it was awesome day of football. Those 1 p.m. games were crazy.
Yeah. You mean those 10 a.m. games, right?
Those 10 a.m.
games were awesome.
Yep.
I mean those noon games. I don't know what y'all did. Hey, they were actually not crazy until all of a sudden they just decided to just
witching hour. Yeah.
Yeah, they just went nuts.
It witched.
They just went nuts.
Yeah, the 2 OT games and
that was a lot of fun. That was a great way to kick off the season.
Nez, you got a homemade Underdog shirt there? Did you Google the font and make that shit yourself or what?
Let's say homemade, baby. This is from the official company. Back in the day in like 2020 or 2021 even, if you refer 10 people, it was like you get a prize, and it was a mystery. So I emailed support and I was like, hey guys, like this is weird, but like I referred enough people for this mystery prize. Like I want, like, what is it? Like, it's a t-shirt. I was like, okay, cool. So they sent it to me, and it's like legit the softest t-shirt that I own.
Oh,
it is,
of course,
so soft. They need to sponsor me before I say anything else. I can't be too nice. But
it's the least surprising thing ever that the best platform also has the best t-shirts.
It makes
least surprising development of all time.
Yeah. So this is legit. Even though if you go on Etsy, I won't judge you if you want your own.
Yo, Doobie, you look like you've moved out of your parents' basement there, and you're back in the crib now. I'm missing the Eeyore and Pooh Bear in the background.
Yeah, those are back. Yeah, we are back home. So don't have to deal with the Pooh Bear and then the sauna I was in basically for the other stream.
Did you end up going to that Niners game? Niners Bears? Yeah. Didn't you say something about Niners Bears? Oh, no.
I don't
you said
think
something in the Discord.
If there was a Vikings game in the cities and I went to a Vikings or a Niners game or a Chicago Niners game, you may have to wonder what's wrong with me.
You would have if I was in vicinity of there, you would have had to pay me to go to that game. Like I was not going to sit in that ring. Hell no.
Dude, when they put up the graphics at the end of they had to make the field graphics because you couldn't see the line numbers. Wow. It was hilarious.
Wow. I wish they'd just let those games breathe though. Like the snow games where they put down the lines and stuff like that. Like, just let it breathe. Like, let us see it organically. I don't want the graphic overlays. 100%. Wait, speaking of graphical. Don't mind if I do.
That is what
never not fun. It's never not fun. Let's jump right in here. Let's go through a couple of these week ones. I was fortunate enough to bink a hundo. I came second in one of the single entry 25s, the Hail Mary 2. Numi had a nice day, finished fourth in the Hail Mary 1. And Nez tried his best. Nez played his heart out. He played his heart out.
I got cute for y'all. Nez went for the whale. You sometimes, man, you just gotta hunt the whale, and I did, and I failed, but I got close.
I love it. I mean, dude, these games, like, okay, I want to talk before we go dive headfirst into this. We were talking about the single game, and I want to do a single game draft together and that sort of thing. But peeps this, I just did 13 while I was sitting on the couch waiting for Sunday night. Peeps this 24-way dupage for this, and notable sharp player Feed the Freezer duping himself and getting home. right? And the difference between $957 on a $5 entry and second place $25 is 0.5 points. And out of the 13 drafts that I did, I had no point, I didn't even come anywhere close to getting Lenny and Evans, let alone Evans and Julio. So I don't know what we take from this or how to approach these single games. Like, I got some thoughts and I'm diving in, but I genuinely think volume is king here. I think it's just straight up. If you're going to play these things, there are so few ways to get different and so few ways to dive super deep into the player pool. Like,
it's so luck of the draw.
I think there's certain for this game it was gross in my opinion because of the options. Like if it's maybe a Bills they're almost always do. I mean that's just always the case in these single especially the fields, but like if it's a different game with more options, it could be a different scenario. But yeah, I agree with you. To touch on that Lenny Evans, I had that once where I could have got it. Yeah. And it was CD. I took CD at the 3 instead. He fell. So it's like, that's the things that you need. You just need the other people in the draft to basically do what you advocate for. And that's not give people the stub. This is where I would advocate with you this is where you cannot get cute. You know what I mean? Like, because you're giving people the access to this lineup. Right. And like,
that's what happens.
It's a, definitely that I've been just saying it to you guys behind the scenes. Just to wrap up my point is volume is king. And if you're not playing at volume, which I don't like to on these, because it's just I don't realize my ROI as great. I'm not that great at it. That I'll toss in 3 or like maybe 5 or something like that and call it a day. Hope to make my money back. Have a sweat,
I threw in 2. I did 2. Like I agree with you guys. It's either all or like nothing, but like you can still play like luck of the draw and do like 1 or 2, especially in something like this where like I didn't think Noah Brown like he went in every draft, but like I was hoping I could probably like get him because maybe not everybody was on him, and that was the team that won me 23 points. I was off first by 5 points, so that much of a difference between that and $900. But yeah, I think if you just do it a couple times and just just kind of maybe hope you luck box into something cool.
Maybe I think the Noah Brown thing and like if there's big injuries on the slate, that could also be an advantage of drafting early or not, because my first 5 drafts I was just going off my projections and I had Tolbert in all of mine as my last pick, so I had Noah Brown wasn't being taken in all of them. He ended up getting swapped for all of them. So like, and then he ended up being a guy that wasn't being taken as often to a sure thing being taken all the time. So
right. I mean, because if we think about it in the context of like tonight's game, I think the player that fits that mold is KJ Hamler, where KJ Hamler has the like question tag right now, and he's going as that like last couple picks off the board. But as soon as you get confirmed that he's in, or there's like a swap of some sort with inactives, he's going to all of a sudden vault from being like whatever it is right now. Let's just throw it a number, 35% owned. He's going to be like 60, 70% owned because of it.
I've done 2 so far. 2 so far. He goes as like this. So there's three teams, 4 rounds. He goes at that 3-4 turn. So far every time, like you might get lucky and someone doesn't take him, but I was the number 2 pick, and like the last thing I had was between like Marquise Goodwin or Travis Homer as like my last pick from the 2 hole. I can't even, wouldn't that be something? That'd be so Pete Carroll.
After all the hernia talk, after all whatever, he's not even on the board right now. Like Travis Homer's getting drafted, and so is DJ Dallas. Like,
that's the one thing. Like maybe like one of these like backup running backs could like sneakily get you home, but otherwise it doesn't seem like the player pool is that deep to get unique for your last pick. It's just so thin and such a like. I think this is probably little Occam's razor, just best place.
Yeah. Let's dive back into the main then. Let's start with the Hail Mary one was it was Hail Mary 2 that you were okay, cool. So this Hail Mary 1, I got in with basically the last draft. It was right after we had streamed, maybe like 40 minutes after we had streamed on like Wednesday or Thursday. And then I jump in and I go, man, what the shit? How do I roll Nez in the same room after this or whatever? And I just, approaching those 12 teamers, I took like kind of a different stance. Like we kind of collectively said that there was a noticeable teardrop, and this is where I think we were sharpest in week 1, is there was a noticeable teardrop between Jefferson, Chase, Adams, and then a boom teardrop. Whereas the running backs that were still available in the 6-man drafts and stuff, even late, sometimes Dalvin was falling like 4th, 5th round, stuff like this, and you could get weird with it. But the wide receivers and the 2, 3 maybe premium tight ends were never, right? So that was kind of my mindset to these 12s, is if it's thin in a 6, it's going to be even thinner in a 12. So what am I targeting here? It's premium wide receiver. And obviously you have to, at the mercy of the RNG to roll a position where you can draft these targets, right? But Jeff, Waller start as like, no game correlation might be kind of unique, because someone picking Adams is most likely searching for someone picking Waller is searching for that Chargers side. So it was kind of like, okay, this is a bit unique here. And I knew Cousins was a decent play, but he was going to be cheap. And then we could fall back on the quote unquote running back value. You guys like this lineup? Don't like this lineup? I know it got home.
Yeah.
Here, I'll zoom it in a little bit. And hey, shout out to the thought leader himself, Mr. Overzet, because he told us to get on the podcast feeds too, so that we could play catch up on these. So I will verbally articulate this lineup for the people. A $2,000 lineup of Kirk Cousins, Saquon Barkley, CEH, Jefferson, Thielen, Waller. So a double stack with a pocket passer, no bring back, and then one-offs everywhere else. Thought process behind this is, when we're constructing a lineup, we can find leverage against other chalky pieces by going a different direction. So CEH is leverage off of Kelsey. It turned out they both got home, but from a mindset standpoint, he's leverage off Kelsey, and I'm going tight end early with a different spot. So I want to reverse engineer leverage off the fact that I'm going away from Kelsey in 2 spots by betting against Kelsey with Waller and betting against Kelsey with CEH. That's kind of my thought process. And then Jefferson and Barkley were just like my 2 highest projected. Like Barkley was chalk for a reason, in my opinion. Okay, you guys, open it up. You guys, is this a good lineup? Is this dust? Did I run good? Tell me the truth.
Oh, of course it's a good lineup. Of course. I mean, you got home, but I like the idea of doing not even just the Vikings like onslaught here with the pass catchers. Like that was obviously a very smart play, but just in general for these 12-person drafts, because we can create these nut lineups in the 6-person and the 12-person, you do have to tell yourself a story more. And like, if you have to get less things right to say Kirk Cousins has a good day and Jefferson and Thielen get home, like your likelihood of cashing there is so much greater in these 12-person ones, just because of how thin things get in a draft setting like this.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Numi, got any points on this specific lineup?
No, I mean, I like it. I like it won't take too much time. You guys nailed it with the thought process. Like I like exactly where you went with needing less things to get right. You know my stance on that. One thing I will say is I do like my strategy going into these 12 teamers was I saw there was a drop off as wide receiver as well, and also quarterback. So I wanted to lock up my elite quarterback and one of my elite wideouts. And that's what I did on my lineup with Chase and Mahomes.
Yeah.
So it was funny.
Let's pivot right into that. Yeah.
Yep.
Here, give me one. I wasn't ready for the big pivot. You gave me the natural transition.
You're good. You're good.
Shit. Okay, hold on. I'm too slow, man. Okay, here. So this is Numi's single entry from the other contest, slightly smaller contest in general.
Yep.
What do we got here?
Yeah, so it's just a Patrick Mahomes with MVS. Just stack, no bring back for the Cardinals, because my thought was it played out that way. You won't just maybe you won't need a Cardinal. So I didn't try and force anything like that with it. And then when I did it, I got Chase. So it's funny enough, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only ones, if not the only one, in the top 10 that faded Justin Jefferson, my boy.
Yeah.
I was
not by design. Just
I'm sitting there in the top as I'm watching my boy eat, and I'm just like, could you just not though? Like honestly, it could be Thielen, it could be anyone else, and he just breaks my heart. He is actually the Zach Ertz tight end, but yeah, no, I just went off projection here, so I got my what I figured would be owned. I didn't start to think in combinations because it's 12 teams, so I didn't want to go that deep. I just wanted to simply get what I thought would be a kind of a unique team to get me up there. And that's what I did there with the Mahomes, MVS. I already had Chase. And then I went with Swift and Patterson. So, I don't know. I just went with players that were available to me because it's that 12-person draft.
Right.
Much different. So
it's interesting because our lineups are very different, but they're very similar. Because we both looked at the fact that, hey, there was 2 positions of scarcity, and I deemed it tight end and wide receiver. You deemed it quarterback and wide receiver. You targeted those 2 premium ones, and then you were like, okay, I can find cheaper pieces to build back around that I like. And you found it in CPAT and Swift, which was sharp, right? Of course. And then you just went for the one-off tight end in a good game environment, basically. Silas brings up a point here. He says he think he would have gone elsewhere over Thielen. I think that's fair. I think in the context of the lineup which I was building, where I had no other correlations, and I thought that Jefferson and Kirk would be very chalky, because anyone who took Jefferson early probably didn't take quarterback the following round, and they'd be waiting on that correlation late. So I thought Jefferson and Kirk would be kind of chalky. And then I thought Jefferson plus Kirk plus a Green Bay run back would be kind of chalky. So you could really differentiate by the double stack. That was my thought process associated with it, opposed to adding in another one-off or running it back with a Green Bay side. Just my 2 cents. That's what my thought process was in a vacuum. So I was probably right. Like you should probably get away from double pocket passer and double stacks in a 6-person single entry contest, but just a thought. As you want me to pull up your break even entries here?
We can look at my consolation prizes if you just want to look at maybe like the best. I don't know if you can easily pull up those screenshots I sent you, or otherwise you can just say forget it, but because it's just $75 min cash in the on one lineup.
Let's talk about those ones after, sorry, because those were in the 5, not the 25. So I think the way we're building in the 5 versus the 25 is slightly different, and that's something to talk about. Let's. I want to just jump back into this one and just say something about this winning lineup here. The winning lineup in the 25 Hail Mary was a Mahomes, Swift, Jefferson, MVS, Michael Thomas, and Waller. No correlation, no backs, and like we can just look at this lineup and we can have our thoughts and be like, oh, it's dust or whatever. It's just a reminder that like playing the best plays and exploitively just handpicking the highest scoring players on the slate will always win out. It will always be if we have a magic 8 ball. Like the reason
we did correlate MVS there too.
Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. He's got 1-piece correlation. My bad. But let's just say, okay, for that's his late piece correlation in the same way Numi had that late piece correlation.
Right.
The overarching like mindset associated with these games is kind of like DFS, where it's slowly gravitating very heavily to a stack and a bring back and that sort of thing. And it's just kind of like a refreshing reminder to be like, yeah, if you just play the best plays and individually hand pick, they're always going to win out. It's just such a hard process to replicate over and over again. That's why we bake in these correlation rules and these understandings, right? But just a thought that, like, yeah, man, these lineups win. They win all the time. You don't have to build the exact same in a vacuum over and over again.
Yeah, I will say I like what you said about picking the best players or best player available more in the 6-person than in the 12-person. Like, I will stand by the fact that, like, correlation is going to help you so much more in these 12-person contests.
Okay, yeah, just in
based
terms
on the
of
nature of them. I mean,
right? Okay, yeah. Newbie, any thoughts?
Nah, I won't take up. You guys nailed it, so I like it.
Newbie's going quiet. We're not talking Vikings yet. Newbie's going a little quiet on us right now. He's like, yeah, I'm just a little fly on the wall right now. I got you.
Oh my god.
Let's talk about these
nice
these hundreds.
bomb.
Did you guys play any of them? I wish I jumped in way more of them, and I don't know whether it was lazy or whether it was, I was just building
8 of them.
Time and stuff. Yeah, they got 8.
Man.
So I was kind of saving my bullets when they first opened it, and I was like, okay, I'll jump in a little later, and then maybe there'll be 2 or 3, kind of like the baseball thing. And I was like, if I'm not first, I kind of want to be last in some of these contests. But then they just started firing on them like over and over again, and I was like, oh my god, I missed all of them. Oh,
you want to scroll down just so I can see who's in the field? If it's anyone that I know, or like if it's just kind of like
close somebody.
There's a lot of new screen names.
I saw Freezer, so I'm like, is it just the same guys over and over again? So I was just wondering. And not, I mean, there's a lot more sharper NFL guys, I bet, that aren't badge. So
Makataka.
Yeah, I've noticed with football in general, there's a lot of new screen names and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of like RG, Stochastic, all of these other guys that don't have badges that are on here. So, and if you can know who they are, which I've found a couple of them, like, oh, well, they're technically being that fish that isn't a fish. If you let me.
No, yeah, for sure. That's why I think when we're drafting these and we're pulling up like the big board while we're going and thinking through how other people are drafting at the same time before just assuming someone's bad. Right?
Yep.
Holy smokes, this dog, he's so jacked up.
He's agreeing with you, man. He loves that point.
Holy shit. It's like we got our very own Jerry or Murphy out here, man. Tucker's our version. He's like, yeah, build like this. Like squeaking 100%. In acknowledgement.
Yes, Dad.
That's
a monster team you got there.
Yeah, it turned out pretty well. Little Deontay run back. Basically, the thing that we got on Jefferson early this week, and Jefferson, like, total exposure doesn't really mean a lot to me, I think, in terms of combinatorial, but he was my highest owned, and he was like 38% or something. Him and Chase were basically interchangeable, 38 and 36.
Nice.
Something like that, where it was just like, I thought, and this week's slate could and probably will be completely different. Like, maybe we'll be jumping on some running backs in those first couple of rounds. But I found it.
Jefferson's not on the slate, so.
He's not? He's a primetime game this week?
Yeah, we're Monday night against the Eagles.
Yeah,
that's going to be awesome.
Look out when a guy starts referring to his team as Weir. Like, look out. Look out. You know the guy means business. We're playing Monday night. Yeah.
I'm a wee guy too sometimes.
I'll be there. Don't you worry, guys. I'll be there.
You go.
I made that 53 man. No, I'm just kidding.
So good.
Yeah, no, it is a bad habit though. I do refer to it as if I'm part of the team. But
it's not a bad habit. It's electric. I love it. Let's jump in the battle royale one here.
One thing I did want to just real quick on that $100. Could you just I just want to see, just because I didn't do any of them.
Yep.
That's a big discrepancy. So my wonder is if it could, like, just go down to the 99 and then below and just click on some of them, maybe, and then so like that whoever just under, perfect. So it's not like these people, it's not like they picked bad people. It's just basically the duds. Because I'm just wondering if these people went really weird in this small field, or if they just picked duds or like studs that dud it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Their pits just didn't get there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the Renfro one. That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess
that game was gonna. That's a bring back with Herbert, and you're.
But I think. Yeah. Obviously, I think going through and just looking at these contests, you can see if you like I said, like we talked about before, if you find the sharp people, like right there, you can look at Freezer's lineup. If you find the people that are cashing and constantly doing it, that's a good lineup. You don't have to take much time into it. Just be like, yeah, like maybe I never thought about that, but that's easily. I mean, he got there. You know what I mean?
If I ever had Adams and Jefferson on the same team, like I was doing that every single time.
As was I. So it's like that's a good way, because if you look at the top 149, what is the lowest score? And it's just a 24-man tournament, right?
Yeah, 24-man tournament in these hundreds. The lowest score was
what are we doing here?
50.
Okay, so it's just the guys didn't hit. Like that's a
good team. Yeah. That's a good team.
So that's what I just wanted to look at. It's not like the guys are drafting bad, but like, man, that's just unlucky.
You want to read this out for the audio listeners?
Yeah. So the last place team in the 100 is Lamar, Henry, Kamara, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, and Pitts. So effectively, he gets his two wide receivers both get injured. Pitts doesn't get home, but he had that Pitts Kamara that we talked about. We talked about it on Wednesday's show or Thursday's show, where it was like, that's a mini stack that keeps falling to like the 2-3 turn. Yeah, give me some of that, right? And Kamara pushed up the board really hard throughout the week. He started as like a 4th round guy, and then I got him in the 5th once or twice in a couple of rosters that obviously didn't get home because he didn't get home. But like, this isn't a bad team. Like Naked Lamar, like give it to me all day. Like this is phrasing, Naked Lamar, give it to me all day. Holy, someone take over. Someone take the mic out of my hand, right? Holy smokes. Jeez. Okay, let's look at the 40K real quick. Not surprising that it's also the highest score of the week that we've seen across any of these contests. And it just preaches to us the importance of hitting an outlier. You have to be perfect. I imagine this team either has Mahomes plus Kelsey, or it has Hurts plus HAB with the Swift run back. Mahomes. Okay. So the 40K winning one in the $5 Battle Royale, the big contest.
That's a good lineup.
So Mahomes, Kelsey as a stack. Then he got the Pittman leverage that we talked about. The Pittman leverage was very interesting. So I'll just say it first. Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman, Travis Kelce. This is a beautiful lineup, in my opinion. The Saquon and the Pittman pieces, they were so chalky on DraftKings and FanDuel. Like, they're so chalky in the DFS community. Mm-hmm. It's fine to eat chalk here like that, that's high owned elsewhere, because their ADPs were so affordable.
Yeah,
right?
It was weird.
Right. And like the fact that we could be like, Pittman was quote unquote bad chalk, in my opinion. It was fake leverage on the DFS sites where it was like, hey, we're all getting away from Taylor. And then he ends up being higher owned than Taylor. And it's just kind of like, okay, that wasn't actually leverage.
Yeah, right? I think most people would have told you that Pittman, but like you said, Pittman was going to be chalky on DraftKings because of the price point. But and of course also, it is the added leverage just baked in is that if JT doesn't get home, and he still did, and Pittman still did too. So, but this team, I will say, getting that Jefferson Kelce stack or start was pretty hard, at least in my opinion. Like, if I saw it, I was taking it. I thought Kelce projected to be a bit of a separator from tight ends in this field. So if I saw Jefferson and Kelce, if I could get that at the same time, I tried. And then Barkley and Swift, man, I think I said it behind the scenes, just in my opinion, it was a good it was so obvious to take 2 running backs in the slate because of the high projected guys going in the 6th round. I mean, you could get Swift and Barkley to round out your last 2 spots sometimes in these. It was strange. You and I even said on the first stream, John, that we both ended up with a CMC with the last pick being Saquon. Right, if CMC gets home, we're having different conversations. Whereas why the hell was Saquon going as the last pick in these drafts? Just didn't make sense. I think people still had that wide receiver fever from best ball season, and it's when half PPR when the best running back plays go cheap, I mean, like 2 running back builds to me just made a lot of sense.
I will.
Can I, Numi, let me jump in 1 second.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing about the Barkley thing in that situation. The thing about this slate was there were so many running backs comparative to the wide receivers, and you can only take 2. So even if you waited, the reason he was falling to the 6 sometimes is guys would build out, like, let's say 2 teams build out just 1 running back builds, and then all of a sudden there's only 8 running backs getting drafted, like maybe someone goes like singular, so like we're getting like the 9th overall running back who we projected as, top 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be, with so much value. But it was kind of like, yeah, that was where the depth of the slate was. And we found that out, right? Like I would just say that to the point where the depth of it coupled with the fact that people weren't always taking 2, right? It's just kind of how you got that.
Yep.
Agreed. Yeah. I will say I'll be on team stud wide receiver and tight end over running back all day. I'll go 1 running back if I can. I don't like, you're not going to find running backs like besides those top ones, which didn't get that. I mean, Jefferson, Chase, Adams, Kelsey, I mean, if you had a chance, I would be building. I mean, even below there's still that tier that can get that points. I get the half point PPR, but I'm pretty sure it was Eric that was blowing up my timeline with the jokes yesterday about like, I'm very happy I got all these wide receivers, in half point PPR. Yeah. And I'm just like, I just don't get that. It's not that big of a difference where it's like, oh, I'm going to go get running backs versus the wide receivers. Like I'm going to get the stud wide. I think that's why when we saw the Jamar and the Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase together, it was just like smash. Like, and then I would still get another wide receiver after that. It wouldn't immediately prohibit me to go like think that. I don't know. And I saw that in the Underdog chat in the Discord as well. Like I think the way to go and again. They got there, but in my opinion, I would normally go with the stud wide receivers over forcing in 2 running backs just because it is that format.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
It's funny because this is why it's good to look through like all different types of lineups and go deeper than just looking at the top. Because looking at the top, it's like, yeah, we learned something, but like we didn't learn as much. We're having a very different conversation if other pieces get home. Right?
We are. I think your point, I think, is like really emphasized why I think it makes sense to go 2 running back in these tournaments, and like why it can happen is because a lot of people like if you get in a room where people aren't using that flex spot as a running back, like you looking at the top 8 running backs, like I mean that's how we get Swift to go super duper late, and why it just depends on the room. But I think it'll be interesting to see moving forward if they keep this same format with the 6-player lobbies. I could potentially see them deeper. I could see them adding a wide receiver spot and keeping the flex, or maybe like that way it kind of forces you to take a wide receiver early because of that, because like now because you have to play more, so the wide receiver pool gets thinner. So I think then if that happened, then I would be like for sure. But ultimately, take the studs. AJ Brown was there late too this week all the time.
Well, we talked about it on Tuesday or Thursday there.
We did.
That game environment set up so well. Everyone in the DFS community is on it, and nobody's drafting it in these drafts. The ADPs hadn't pushed up yet. And we were just building, Hurts Goddard, Hurts Swift, Hurts
super
AJ
exploitable.
Brown. Yeah, with the TJ Hawkinson run back. Like we're having very different conversations if this is a Goddard Hurts instead of Hurts and AJ Brown getting home or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it's interesting to dive through some of these, and you were right about the Kelsey Jefferson. Like Jefferson was my highest exposed player, and I only have Jefferson plus Kelsey. I have Jefferson plus Kelsey less than I have Jefferson plus Chase and Jefferson plus Adams. And I know for a fact that I had Kelsey ranked higher than Adams, or relative to ADP, I had him 1 or 2 slots above. So I was targeting him. Anyways,
that's a good point. I want to see how often I have that as well.
0
for 3.
All right, let's have a little fun here.
I got on 2 teams, and they were some of my highest scoring teams. Yeah, let's do this. So, like I said, this one is interesting because I think the last pick of these drafts is very, very shallow, but you have the chance to probably, if you like, I don't know. I think KJ Hamler is typically like the 3-4 turn here, but I could see somebody in the second pick maybe reaching. It's interesting, man, because it's so thin and it could be really, really ugly for the Seahawks.
Yeah, it could. The Underdog NFL site or Twitter, according to Jesse Palmer, I imagine, they tweeted out an hour ago that KJ Hamler knee expected to play week 1. So, I mean,
good.
Just something to say there. Gives us a little added depth. But okay, let's think about builds in these contests, because I've been thinking about this a lot because I was doing the Sunday night last night, and we can get weird by clicking on things that we think other people won't click on. So if you start Javonte, most people are going to like not click on Melvin as well. You know what I mean? Because we're looking at like certain kind of like scripts and stuff. So is that something we should be targeting, or is that something? Okay, here, let's just do this one here.
I like it. I like doing that. So I think Penny for sure. I think he's gonna get a lot of volume and has a chance to he has a very safe floor with an obviously explosive ceiling. And I think that makes the most sense as well. Judy, but I kind of like Melvin. Like I wouldn't hate you if you decided to want to go Melvin. But
I think it's a good way to get different. But I also, just protecting my entries in my portfolio, I don't want to be giving up too much Sutton plus Judy. Because you know what I mean? Like as I'm doing these, I can play a little defense too, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's something that we don't talk about enough in general, is that if you're volume drafting, you have to build for yourself as much as you have to protect your previous builds as well.
Yeah, I think it's an absolute like game theory, like game edge point to consider when doing that. I totally agree.
Yeah, so when we're looking at like just information and it's like, oh, just pick these rankings or pick these highly projected players in order over and over again, like, no. We gotta think a little deeper than
these
that.
are easy to track too if you wanted to like write them down on a spreadsheet.
What do you like here? I like this for sure.
For sure, Kui Boonham. For sure, Kui Boonham. And then for me, it's like since we have Penny. Like, do you not want to get Homer, or are you gonna or do you want to get like kind of weird and maybe take Homer or Dallas? But for me, it's Fant. Like otherwise, I don't want to really get cute here. And this is probably going to be a super popular build, but it's hard to like you said, you got to play a little defense here. And Fant projects so much better than the remaining pool in my opinion.
Right? Yeah, with this specific build for sure, Okay, let's just talk about like this mini roster construction here. If we think about like correlation patterns, like we're setting up for kind of like a low-ish scoring game where Penny scores on the ground, right? And Fant gets like a couple red zone targets, maybe gets home. The Seahawks score 14 points, and that's how we get home, right? Mm-hmm. Pass catching tight end and rushing touchdown. Judy outscores Sutton. And Alberto, whatever, he gets 40, 50 points, something like that, right? Because thinking through these rosters, like I think it's very important to tell ourselves a story and then get weird with that story when it sees fit. Now, this is very hard if you're only building 1-2 lineups.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just jump in another one here. Oh my goodness, it filled.
Oh wow, that first one, that's wild. You might have been the last draft.
Wow.
That's wild.
That's crazy, man. We're 10 a.m. We're 10 a.m. before Monday Night Football. They might have like 3 or 4 more of those. Like Thursday night, they had like 5 of them.
The people are hungry.
Thursday night ones, man.
The people want to draft. Let them draft.
And they take like 4 or 5 minutes, and you just jump in and
these single game ones. So also Silas brings up a good point in this Seattle-Denver slate about Will Dissly. Apparently, we're looking at a lot of 2 tight end sets for Seattle. What are we calling that? 12 personnel. So That's interesting. I'll have to add him in. I don't have any of them yet. I only did 2 drafts, but I went Homer, I believe, both times so far.
Yeah. Here, actually, I mixed him in exactly 0 times in the first. Now that contest is closed, I don't love sharing like my lineups before the contest is closed, but I did 13 of them this morning, I guess. And
well, DS Rich.
Yeah, like I don't know, because I'm thinking through Seattle's depth chart and how you get different, because this must have been a 101 team, right? If I got Javonte and then Penny fell all the way back. So it's nice to get
Javonte 101 every time.
I mixed. I think I took Judy once and I took Sutton once. I randomized it a couple times, like just GTO sicko, bro. Little poker, the poker habits dying hard. But
I like it. I like it.
So it's interesting because the ways to get different on this slate, in my opinion, all exist on the Seattle side with that late one-off pick. So if we're building Denver onslaughts, like 3-man Denvers, and then you have to run it back with someone, I was trying to get that run it back as a weird one. And I saw people mixing in Will Dissly, and I probably should have been mixing in more Will Dissly, but mixed in a little DJ Dallas late. I think I ended up on a lot of 2-2s more so than onslaughts.
I'm at 2-2s as well, and I do wish I want to do more 3-1s just because of how viable a strategy is in Showdown to do like a 5-1 or whatever the positional allocation is. I don't play a lot of Showdown, but I know that that's a profitable strategy. So that's a good one. That's a really
single
good one.
Entries.
Damn.
Yeah, I was about to say this is a nice one here.
Jeez.
where we just get like the volume all on the Denver side.
What that is sick.
Yeah, and that must have been early when
that's probably
scared.
That's probably a third pick, I feel like.
All right, for the podcast listeners, let's break this down. I'm calling my shot. It's Monday morning at 10:48 a.m. in the only legitimate time zone, and I am staring in the face a Monday night football team that I am projecting. I'm guaranteeing I am locking at least a tie of dupage on a Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, no longer on the Denver side, and KJ Hamler. That is a nasty little 4-man that we got built there.
That is nice, Clark. Real nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's interesting with these because to the point we were talking about earlier, like Freezer. Hey, shout out. Feed the Freezer. If you exist out there, I've looked for you. I've searched the Discords. If you out there and you happen to find this, open invite, come hang out. I genuinely think he's one of the best players on this site. He's putting in the most volume, probably ? He's in like everything. If we can just talk through some thought process, some whatever. You don't have to give away all your secrets, but just come hang with the boys for once here. It's just it's a very interesting approach where he duped himself in that, and he's putting in, preset ranks, and I assume just auto drafting over and over again, which is probably totally fine for these showdown contests where the correlation patterns don't matter as much. Yeah. Especially if you're onslaughting a different side of it. But I don't know. Yeah.
Respect.
Silas got a Judy, Sutton, Fant, Hamler. That my brain still doesn't work yet because I haven't seen Fant in a Seahawks jersey. So I still just go like, yo, how'd you build that 4-man Broncos back? No, but yeah, that's a beautiful team too. And that's what I mean. Like we're going to be micros of differences here where like, fractions of points are going to separate this, where DJ Dallas gets -2 yards, but Travis Homer catches a ball on 3rd down and he's the separator between 1st and 2nd. Because in these contests, it's not like Showdown. It feels like it should be like Showdown. It's not like the Showdown slates. Like there's way more to dive into on the Showdown
100%,
slates.
100%. Yeah, it's way different.
Yeah, these are kind of just like randomize some exposures, try and get. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we kind of beat that Monday night. Numi, while you were gone, the Monday night filled, dude. We are.
Yeah, I was actually just coming in to say that they may or your strategy should change possibly too, depending on what contest you are entering for that showdown, because they do potentially have 3. So like it gets most likely smaller field each time. So more things can become. Yeah.
I just posted in the comments, but Underdog NFL said that Chris Godwin is going to miss a few weeks. Or could miss a few weeks. So
man,
don't love it.
Yeah, no. You know what's weird is like he comes back out. He comes off everybody knows the story, off the ACL. Blah 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 blah. He could have just sat like I know it's a different injury, but like methinks that the leg is all connected, right? Like the hamstring is adjacent. I don't know. Maybe Mr. Physiokinesiology degree over there, Nez, can tell me, but is the hamstring kind of close to the knee? I don't know. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of like, did you need him last night? You're so deep at wide receiver. Like they weren't even working in Gage until the third quarter. And then
it did seem a little rushed. I'm not gonna disagree with you, but I'm not. I wasn't examining him.
Seemed designed specifically for him, like that.
Right, like they were not
right there, boom,
use.
Gone, and then he was just off the field.
Yeah, it was 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, we got to get him the ball here quick, get him in there, and then boom. Yeah, it's like,
yeah. Yeah, this is a good point by Silas. I think there's a way to find this showdown game to incorporate quarterback play.
You have to neuter the QB scoring a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah, or you could, mix something weird like first half QB, second half QB, but then it just becomes kind of random variance. You know what I mean? Because if you're in a 3-man draft and there's only 2 quarterbacks, well, you could set it up into like now there's 4 quarterbacks, right? Where it's like a first half, second half. Yeah. It's a fun little thought. I don't know that it has any actionability, but it's just one thing that I thought about when doing these contests. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how you make it better.
Maybe they could do a Sunday night, Monday night combo.
Nice.
And then then have 3-man draft, 4 quarterbacks to choose from. That would be a fun slate to play. I don't know.
That's very similar
kind of like
to
the
the Monday Thursday.
Yeah.
Like the Monday Thursday and like the playoff 2-game slates or 4-game slates.
Yeah, you can even make those like full roster 4-person, like you do the whole shebang.
Doesn't have to be
actually
3,
be pretty interesting. Yeah, just like prime time only. That'd be pretty cool. Think about it. Think about it.
Well, we kind of said something similar. Yeah, we said something last time like this, and then the next day, all of a sudden, there was $100 single entry and day and night slate. So it was like, oh, all right,
gentlemen, are we influencers? Are we influencers?
I don't know. I would be more apt to put volume on that contest. I don't know.
Yeah,
that would be more fun
I agree. Yeah. But what we've said so many times through the baseball slates and stuff like that, like our most enjoyable slates are these 4 or 5 gamers, right? Like the afternoon only slate yesterday, the baseball 5-gamer that, we should probably just dive in that right now because we cannot
there was
play
a big edge this morning. Goodness.
In the MLB? Okay, so Numi, you've been in the MLB streets already then. So talk us through it. I have done zero research other than I know Spencer Strider is pitching.
Yeah, go to the rankings because at one point they didn't have Strider pitching.
Yeah.
Oh,
they had,
okay.
Kyle Wright had an ADP and Strider was going in the 6th round.
Dude, those are my favorite slates.
Yeah. So
I know get Dusty, the SP1. You get the SP1 Dusty, in the 6th round.
Yeah, Dusty, and the top pitch. Yeah, the top pitcher on the slate. Everything. Yeah, Dusty let me know, and as soon as I hopped in there, I have not got him there. I got him once immediately, and then it's all been Nez has been in some of mine, taking him in the freaking 3rd round.
I had to.
Yeah,
he's way up there now. I still think he's a fine
way up there
early pick, just because
for sure
the way the slate is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just do a quick bro science version. You guys have been in the streets. I have not. Starting with the pitching position. Bassett's been on fire. He's put together a great stretch there, but the weather looks awful. Do we think that game's getting played?
I don't know about the weather there, but I do just want to highlight Underdog normally doesn't put in any double headers in their main slates, and today they did put the second double header in, and that's why you see Trevor Rogers with an ADP. There's some people that are probably confused and they see him pitching on the first game and someone probably took him. So just FYI, if you see Trevor Rogers starting and you think that that's a great last pick because he has been throwing better, it's not going to count.
Same thing with John Gray. Like, thankfully, John Gray has the out beside him right now, but that would have been the same thing.
Ooh, wait, what is that blurb? That's weird. I wonder if he's
John Gray's pitching one of the two games, but I'm pretty sure it's the first game, and it's Rogers versus Gray.
He's pitching the second game.
Otto's pitching the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yo, there's your skeleton key to the slate for our 9 viewers. Wow, I just broke the slate for everyone. John Gray, currently with an out designation. When you click on his name on Underdog, it says, "Are you sure you want to draft this player? He will be swap ineligible." And then we're just going to click that shit. Let's go. Love it. John Gray, skeleton key.
There's two John Gray, or at least on mine, there's 2. Is there 2 John Grays for you?
There's not 2.
Maybe it's just a glitch.
Yeah, no, that's just I'm only getting 1. There's 2 John Grays because he's so damn good. He's going to strike out 11 today.
That is so weird. Oh, I'm looking at a 210. That's my problem. That's my problem. Don't listen to me.
Hey, let's talk yesterday. The end of that Mariners. So I would chase the overlay and I got 16 entries into the MLB, and I thought I was going to win the MLB in the afternoon yesterday as well. And I was pretty jacked up on it. And then I turn it on in the 8th inning and the game went crazy. Like the Braves just scored 5 in the top of the 9th. And then the Mariners hit back-to-back solo jacks in the bottom of the 9th. Dude,
insane.
What a ball game. And everybody was watching football instead, right? It's just
I saw the highlights.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's it. But it was like I just threw it on the iPad while I was just sitting there watching Red Zone, and I was like, oh my God, this is like the greatest game ever played, and nobody's watching. Felt so sad.
I know. We need October baseball.
Yeah. I was supposed to go down this weekend for that series, and a friend of my girlfriend's planned a surprise 30th birthday party for her on Saturday night instead. And I had already had tickets to go see Acuna for Saturday night and a hotel booked, and I had to cancel it all. It was so brutal because I just didn't have the heart to be like, okay, we're missing your surprise party for Acuna.
No, you can't. You can't you might never get invited to another party ever again.
I might not have a girlfriend after that shit.
Yeah, you might be single.
Yeah, exactly. Like the 30th was for my girlfriend. Like it wasn't like for like a friend surprise, right? Okay, what are we liking on this slate? At the positional allotments, at the pitcher, pitcher looks kind of like we're sifting that value with this John Gray. You were sifting that value with Strider beforehand, and then kind of I'd be fading this weather game in Bassett, even though he's been crazy, unless he fell to like a 5th or 6th round ADP. Anything off the board you guys like?
It's kind of gross. Braxton Garrett, maybe as a last ditch if I had to. Like I said, John Gray, it looks like he's going to be available late. And then like Barrios, I'm not like taking super early. Like it's either for me, it's like Strider, Anderson or bust. And I kind of like the way I like to play. I just kind of like taking like to, at least for the most part, early on. I really like going like to like pitchers. I like over the field this much, even though I know it's not necessarily plus EV. That's just the way that I kind of like to build a lot of these. Yeah,
build with the safety of the pitcher kind of deal.
Yeah, but not necessarily like super early, but in something like this, I will probably take Strider like 2nd round.
Okay. And what about you, Numi? What are you liking?
Yeah, so basically the same guys. I will say the weather edge, or for the weather, he does have it as a yellow-orange, so it's not just a straight orange. So that's something.
And you're talking about roto grinders, right? Like Kevin.
Oh, yep. I'm just on roto grinders here. But I mean, I agree with you. It could be. If anything, I'm hoping that it's a late start, so then we do get the pitchers. But yeah, it's definitely pushing Bassett down, which is making me more inclined to take him in the post 3rd round when he does for my projections, have a projection higher than Strider. So it's like kind of like if he's gonna fall, I'm definitely gonna take it. And then if I'm biting the bullet, then I am. But definitely those it's Bassett and Strider for sure, and then giant drop off. So I'm trying to get one of those two. And previous to Strider's giant leap in ADP, I was getting a lot of those too.
Okay, so, nice. No, yeah, I tend to agree. That's one thing we should just talk about. Two things that I just want to macro level point out. Check the weather. Always check the weather. Like weather should be like before you check projected lineups, before you check projections, everything. Weather is 101 of MLB contests, and even for football. Like look at the Niners game, right? Like I got off of so much Eli Mitchell, like lucky in quotations that he got injured, like thoughts and prayers, but like it just getting off of that because of the situation and seeing what that field looked like I just full faded it in DFS, that whole game environment. And I think in baseball, when you're doing when you're max entering these contests, this is the second point now, when you're max entering these contests, to eat some of this outlying variance as he falls is also a viable strat. But we have to know the weather first. It's just my overarching thought process. Anything to add, boys?
No, you nailed it 100%.
Okay, let's go positional allotment. Numi, what's your favorite stack so far today? What's your favorite one-off sticks? What are we looking at?
Right now I'm liking the way I can get a lot of the Rays pretty easily. I mean, if I'm my favorite, I'm going to go with the top. My top stacks are going to be Dodgers, Blue Jays. But I like right now I can get a lot of the Rays almost pretty easily, even with the top one I believe is up there is the Rose Arena. So that's it. But they're projected third for me in my stacks. It's pretty for the stacks how they look, it's pretty middling. So I mean, it's just they're kind of bunched together. No one's taking a big leap out. The only ones taking a big leap down are the ones. There's the Giants and Cubs facing Strider and Bassett. So
so we're off. Are you completely off Cubs and Giants then, or are we looking to sprinkle in some one-offs? Or
definitely given the context of slate being a 5-gamer, I plan on probably maxing it, so I will definitely have exposure to them. Just because anything can happen, and it's baseball. So I'll definitely as gross as it is and as hard as it is when all of a sudden you get in there and you're going to be passing up Blue Jays, Braves, Dodgers, you're going to be like, nope, I'm going to build my unless you're getting them as your mini stack or whatever. So I would mix them in sparingly, like 1 to 2 lineups. So
Nez, are you same wavelength here?
Yeah, so I drafted one of these teams so far, and I went with the Blue Jays and took a little Trey Turner as well on his hot streak. The weather is definitely like a bit of a bummer because I would have liked to pile on some Mets, and I still might draft a few more. I don't plan on max entering this, but if I draft a couple more, I'm gonna be pretty chalky with this and just kind of hope that I can get like an onslaught to just absolutely smash.
Okay, cool. I like that. Let's just talk about that in general. How you guys both just said, like, Numi's like, yo, I'm going to max this. I'm going to sprinkle in some one-offs. You're like, yo, I'm not maxing in this, but I'm still looking to get contrarian. Like, just like ideology-wise, if you know you're not maxing, how does that change your approach to these baseballs?
Yeah, I think because of that, I try to go like way more chalk. And just kind of see who's projecting really well stack wise. And then from there, looking at ADPs and seeing like, okay, like if I do want to get a one-off, where can I get that and who's available there? Because in this, a lot of like the power hitters that I like to get as one-offs are not typically there. So for me here, like I just try to go like, just go full onslaught, even though I know that there's people in these contests that do that. But that's just the way that I've kind of buttered my bread in the past. Do it when I don't max.
Cool. I like it. Numi?
Yeah, I say I'm gonna max. That's my plan. Something could easily come up, so I could easily not. But if I'm maxing or not, I like exactly what Nez said there. Like I'm gonna if I'm gonna max, I'm gonna maybe spread it out, get some options that I normally wouldn't do if I wasn't. If I'm tossing in 5 to 10. I'm more apt to pick my spots, and I'm more apt to use projections, but just kind of go with not 100%, not just saying I'm go with my gut, but just pick my spots, and basically that's the bet I'm going to lay it, and that's what I'm going to go with. And if it hits, it hits. You know what I mean? Not go crazy, but just find maybe a couple, and by say maybe a couple lineup or guys in the lineup that aren't going as often, or maybe I completely fade Austin Riley 2 nights in a row and have 55 and then 75% exposure to Matt Olson when I could have got all Austin Riley, and I did it 2 nights in a row. You know, like stuff like that. You know,
right?
But I'm more apt to do stuff like that on smaller, like a 5 to 15, 20, lineups like that, where I'll take my stance, and I like that.
One overarching thing I'll say is this is the second time. I think now the first time was Kansas City and White Sox 2 days ago. This is the second time where they've had the second game of a doubleheader on these slates. Be very careful. Like I'm looking at these ADPs of Lowe is pushed up to 12. Seager's pushed up here. I imagine Simeon's pushed up as well. They're all in the player pool. One of them is probably going to sit this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's just baseball. It's the way baseball is. I'm not implementing, full fade Rangers. Like Braxton Garrett can blow up. He can absolutely. Braxton Garrett's got really good high profile strikeout stuff too.
Yeah.
And, he's kind of like Nick Lodolo, where it's kind of like, hey, we're either going to see 5 innings, 11 Ks today, or he's going to get shelled, right? Like this is what we're going to see, one of these two extremes from a pitcher like Garrett. And when I'm looking at this, my instinct right now is just like Seager probably off my board, Nathaniel Lowe probably off my board for these contests, simply because I do not want that lefty-lefty matchup to start with against a pitcher with good strikeout stuff. And I genuinely believe one of the two of them will sit, especially with quote unquote expanded rosters, right?
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
And especially like a losing team. Like they're a bad baseball team right now. They're going to be mixing in Jung every day. They're going to whatever. Yeah, Numi, sorry.
Oh, I will say picking who is going to be is something we can't do. But identifying that it can happen to the teams is definitely, you know what I mean? Like
right.
We can't go out there. And I know you guys didn't say it. It's just for the audience. You can't go out there and be like, well, I like that point. I'm going to assume one of these guys is sitting, and you kind of go like that.
Right.
Like, that's the one thing. And it's not like you guys said that. That's just to piggyback on that. I love it exactly. And that's something that I have on my mind where for pointing that out, it's only happened twice, but that is it's a great point to know. Like some of these people are likely to sit, but we don't know who. So, but be wary of that. So
it's just a tool in our toolkit, like it's just, it's there. We might not use the hammer today, but we can think about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's, I might go into these drafts and see their ADPs falling, and I might just backstack a 3-man. Like, oh wow, those are 3 quality bats that are just sitting there for the exact inverse reason that I just stated, right? Like, oh yeah, Braxton Garrett can actually get shelled. Okay, backstack these 3 sticks, right? Anyways, it's just an overarching thought. Eric's asking if we've considered some pennant contests. I know the two of you did some quality stuff. It's on the Spike Week YouTube channel, so go check that out. Nez and Numi did a, I guess, hour and a half kind of deep dive when it first launched. We can definitely, on a slow news day or whatever, slow MLB day, slow whatever, mix in some pennant for sure, because we're drafting everything. But our focus right now is primarily dailies, right? Like that's kind of like our little niche right now. That's kind of like our little avenue that a lot of people aren't quote unquote streaming right now. So, but yeah, I ain't afraid to mix in a couple pennants. I ain't afraid.
If the demand is there, we can definitely segue some time for that. So, and there will be more content coming out too as we get closer to playoff season for specifically the pennant on best ball. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you doing some Spike Week stuff, some solo stuff, some content here. What are you thinking?
Well, we should have. I know me and Nez probably have one or two streams that we're gonna do
Okay.
We're going to plan them out for Spike Week as well. And then I still plan on, I'm actually in the process of now, I've got everything and I'm starting to do these little simple team by team breakdowns for anyone that doesn't know baseball. You can just go strictly to that. You'll know who's most likely to be on the 26-man roster, their ADPs, general strategy stuff. And just going to be a simple stuff like that. And so there's definitely more stuff to come. And it's just like everyone else, week 1 came and it just everything got all bogged down. So
and tunnel vision football, right? One thing I will say about just overarching with these playoff contests in general is one of my overarching approaches, especially with the football last year, was to harp and target on teams that were fringe wildcard teams that were going undrafted. Just as a point of leverage now, you're going to end up with some dead rosters, or you could end up with the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just,
One thing I pointed out on there was basically the Indians, how they were basically.
Excuse me, sir.
My apologies.
It's 2022.
All right, well, I'll leave.
It's 2022.
Guys, I'm canceled. See it. No. The Guardians. My apologies. My apologies. Guys, when you're in their division, you hear them so much. No. For that, the Guardians, they had when we were talking about this just a quick tangent, I won't go on it. They had about like a 20% chance to make the playoffs. I'm fairly certain now they have about 70% chance to make the playoffs. So,
there you go. Perfect example.
Yeah, 71% chance. So
and they got 4 or 5 quality sticks, one of which stick might be the best in the league to mix in.
And their pitching staff is not terrible. It's not terrible. And they got that elite relief pitcher out there too. So it's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, mix in mid-round.
No, Joe Mixon isn't here.
Mix in Joe. Wait, what? Now you got me tripping.
You're gonna say mixin like so many times. I was like, no, he's not here. Sorry.
That mid-tier, that mid-tier where you just get Jose Ramirez and then you follow it back with a Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie.
Yeah,
just get a little mini like that, a little 3-man mini to play in a wild card series on the AL side.
Yeah,
pair it with something else, free money. Thank you very much.
It's very plus EV, very
plus EV plus. Actually, I got a couple of French Canadian buddies from the poker scene that I used to hang out with all the time, and they don't say plus EV, they say EV plus. Like just the way it is with these French Canadian accents, and it's very EV plus.
I love it.
So, oh my god! So now I just always say it. Like
that's what I'm adopting that as well now.
EV plus. You guys want to jump in?
Plus.
You guys want to jump in this EV plus Moonshot Monday? See if we get 1 or 2 in, and go from there. You guys got hard outs. What are you thinking here?
I could probably do one and tie a bow on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we could do one tie bow on it. That'd be perfect.
Okay, if there's nobody in the lobby, help us fill this thing. Oh, last man in. Let's go. We're running hot today.
No EV plus for you folks.
Oh, and the 101 influencer 1-0 win. Oh my god, in a badgeless room with just Ben in here. Let's go. Are you kidding me?
That's fantastic.
Dude, I'm sun running. Am I the hottest guy on the planet? I might be the hottest guy on the planet right now.
You got a tough choice at 101, sort of.
Okay, yeah.
A fun tough choice.
Let's jump into. I have no projections pulled up. I have no rankings done yet. I have nothing. How thin is outfield looking on this slate? We got like Acuna and stuff in bad hitting environment.
I've been able to pick up some nice pieces on the turn because after I've been getting this 1-on-1 quite a bit. So
okay, so what have you been targeting on the turn, like Springer or something like that on the way back? Does he make it back?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he has made it back, and I mean Springer's Springer. So
okay, my instinct. We were talking up that Toronto one.
Yeah.
Anytime I see Dodgers consolidate at the top of the board like this, I don't like implement like a fade or whatever, but I wait for the drafts in which I'm in the 1-5, 1-6 range and 1 or 2 of them fall and try and build stacks that way, opposed to taking one-offs of them right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
both can win.
It makes sense. Like
I've been taking Freddie at the 101. So
okay, yeah. I mean,
but
why not?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done these in mass, so I haven't been able to implement any sort of draft theory necessarily. But I mean, Dodgers are gonna Dodger.
Yeah, exactly. I will never talk shit about anybody drafting Dodgers, drafting Braves, drafting those stacks, right? Like,
yeah, unless it's one of you guys, and it's hashtag never team.
Never insert. Yeah.
Do we know, is this a bullpen game? Do we know what a Ryan Nelson is? Like,
I imagine. See, okay, so you have Ryan Nelson right now. I have Cooper Criswell.
Maybe
really?
I have the.
I thought
Criswell's pitching against the.
Sorry. You're looking. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're looking at different games.
Yeah, both.
I was talking about
teams. What are both of these pitchers? What are I'll answer in Jeopardy. Like, what is a Cooper Criswell?
Right. Okay, let's pull this up.
He pitched well against the Padres. Ryan Nelson.
Yep. I feel
I don't have anything on their plate IQ. I don't know what's not loading.
I feel like I know this guy though. I've heard this guy's name before.
Yeah, I just got that notification as well.
Cooper Criswell, I've never heard of in my life, admittedly.
Yeah, no, neither have I.
Yeah, I think
Elijah Mitchell was out a few
Does
weeks,
a 49ers running back just get hurt immediately in the first, play or half?
Just has to.
Just done.
Just has to happen.
Is that why they always draft or have capital in running backs? My gosh.
It'll be interesting if they go with TDP and he was inactive last week. Reminds you so much of the Trey Sermon, eh? It's Trey Sermon all over again, right? Where it's
weird.
like they trade up for Sermon. People forget they traded up for Sermon, right?
Wow.
Anyways, yeah. Anyways, it's so strange.
Yeah, I don't understand the way.
Okay, back to baseball for a second. Betts went off. Freeman went off. All the Dodgers are gone. Bo, who's super hot, went at 5 there. 2 of the good pitchers, Strider and Bassett, are gone. Acuna just went. Springer went on the back end. So the stack potential of some of those Toronto bats falling, we're going to have to look deeper in the player pool. What else we like here?
So, you know me, you can probably wait on pitcher, but I do like Tyler Anderson for, not giving any a 0.
Yeah. I'm vetoing pitcher right here.
I love it. It's way more exciting too to skip it.
To sweat it. I kind of like a Rosarina and then a back stack of T-Bay. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I like Randy here as well, given the matchup.
Yeah. Numi, you're awfully quiet. You're scaring me. Who else do you like? Numi, what do you like here?
I like
pick for me.
I like Pete Alonso there, but
okay, let's go with Pete Alonso here then, and we'll just have three
my thought is, if that game is on,
right?
What makes them anything from a second to end of the first round pick with the way you know what I mean?
Correct. And that goes to the point that we talked about earlier of eating some variance with this weather. We want to be aware of it, but doesn't necessarily mean we're implementing a full fade. It means we're going to eat a little value here when it comes to us. And I think that's exactly what just happened there. Right. And we have 3 potential slate breaking bats here to start this draft. And it's nice that Ben took that pick for us there because I don't know any of these other screen names. And 2 of them already have pitchers, and we can kind of talk freely now about how my back of my mind this whole time there was one pitcher we were taking in this draft.
Oh yeah, your boy,
my namesake.
You're risky. Your namesake.
My namesake, Jonathan Gray.
All right, so we're gonna have to take another outfielder here, and I don't know if you want to just type in a team name, try to get a stack, or maybe do another one-off, just try to take a nice, easy play. But
is Marte still on the DL? He is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you can wait on all of the New York Met or outfielders. They'll be there. At the end. They should, unless they
And you know how I love me some Tyler Naquin and Mark Canha.
Oh yeah, Canha's been my boy, dude. Yeah. I've been loving it.
He's like one of my favorite picks every time.
Yeah.
Why is Teoscar got a 0 projection today and a 30 whatever ADP? Isn't he going to hit 5th today?
Reinstated. He was on the restricted list.
He's it. Yeah. He's the bat has him projected to be playing.
Paternity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he was just reinstated from paternity.
Okay. Well, this seems like a cheeky little value to mix in to stack here, right?
I think, Numi, are you seeing anything else that makes it seem like he's not going to play?
It would be active versus the Rangers. Yeah, he was playing yesterday. So
all right, let's do it. Okay.
Yeah, he played yesterday on the 11th. Yeah.
Okay, let's go Teoscar with that mini. Now we have a decision. We can go a Tampa Bay stick, or we can go Nimmo, Naquin, whatever with Alonso. We got 20 seconds. Say a name. Any name on planet Earth?
A Ray here. I feel like they're not going to be taking.
Yeah, do it. Do a Ray. Type in a Ray.
Yandy or G-Man Choi.
I like Yandy.
Oh, I love some G-Man Choi.
Yeah, Bat likes him, eh? Bat X likes.
No, I just love G-Man, man. That's a guy that can just.
I'm just a G-Man guy.
He can give you 0, or he can give you a good 30 bombs.
You know. When I look at you two guys. All I think is these are G-Men guys. I see 2 G-Men guys.
How is he not your guy, Mr. Big Beefy Baseball Boy?
Yeah, he's a big beefy baseball boy. We got to load up on big beefy baseball boys.
Yeah, Ty France is not available, but we still want him. He's going to be our pitcher for this team.
We're just going to put in France right now. Viva la France, baby. Honestly, I should be in the broadcast booth for the Mariners, because how someone hasn't jumped on the fact that Ty France's home run call should just be au revoir. Like, when a ball leaves the yard, are you kidding me? Numi, that's
fantastic.
That's goodbye in French for those.
If he played for the Pirates, Greg Brown would totally do some on the nose shit like that, or he'd probably say "wee wee" like that's
wee wee. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, here we go.
Who's the guy that called the Castellanos? I want to see him call. That would be awesome.
Oh, he's back. Yeah.
Oh, is he back?
He's calling.
No, he's not back.
I was gonna say.
I was like, wait a minute. He got rehired. Oh my. That sounds like a Cleveland Browns move.
Do you know John Gray is out?
Yeah,
he's not going to.
Okay, hey, one thing that it could just be. I've looked at 3 sets of projections now, and John Gray has. I don't know if they just simply haven't updated it or because of this, but his projection is terrible. Terrible.
Huh. Why?
I don't know, and that's what I generally don't. I've been trying to like look up and like.
Set to return Monday will be activated. Oblique injury.
Like I've gone to 3 different projection sources here, and
Miami sucks at baseball.
So that's why I generally think there's something off with the doubleheader on the projections. So I'm not saying don't take him, but that's just something interesting, because he's literally one of the second lowest pitcher.
Interesting. I guess the only other thing, if you were worried about
on
that,
Bat X, RG, and this other site,
it's got to be
other site that I have here too. Yeah,
it must be a pitch count thing. Whatever. Embrace the variance.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Ben did say pitch count. Let me check that out and see what the bat has him for.
The only thing I can say is Alex Cobb, since you don't have any Braves, you can just completely.
That's a good little leverage.
He projects decent.
Okay,
too,
fine.
Which is funny.
Fine.
All right, we'll wrap this up.
Make it draft good structure.
Yeah, we'll veto you there. You're taking Cobb.
Fine.
All right. Pitch count.
All right, I instinctively just clicked another one. If you guys got to bounce, it's all good.
It's a 45 projected pitch count.
Wow, that's
got to be. Is he coming back from something right now?
He is. Yeah,
he's coming back from an oblique. He was on the 15.
Yeah, but no, I do have to run, boys. This has been great. I cannot wait for the next main slate so we can hop back on and look at these crazy ADPs once again. Best of luck with this team. Salute. Thanks everybody for watching. We had, I think, a new record high of most active viewers at one time today. So
Are you kidding me?
The bar just keeps getting higher and higher, man. Just incredible stuff.
Yo, Nez, can you do me a favor? Can you just look at that number? Is that 1 digit in front of the other number? Is that a 10? Are we a double digit influencing stream now? That's a one and and we just lost a viewer. You know,
They were like,
they were just pumping our own bags.
Like, fuck these guys. I'm out on these.
I
idiots.
like humble hosts. Not here, baby. Celebrate your wins.
Wrong place. Wrong place.
See you guys.
All right. Okay, newbie, what are we building out here? Let's have a little bit of a plan. Ben's back in this draft with us.
Oh yeah, we know about the weather there, Ben. That the reason we took Alonso is simply for if it is, but I mean,
we talked a little bit about the weather before we drafted, and
bats are definitely more. I'm more on the side for bats than it is for a pitcher in a weather game, because then it doesn't matter if there's an interruption. Bats will most likely still be out there. So.
Okay, we got the Dodgers running off the top of the board here. What do you like, sir? If Vlad falls here, do we try and do
Vlad.
Yeah. I kind of like Vlad, and then hoping Ben plays nice and gives us one of the stack options. I mean, he should just take Riley Acuna here. You know, have a nice little double for himself, and then we get a nice little double, and everyone's happy. But who do you like better today, Bo or Springer?
I am on the Bo will finally not be amazing train, so I have literally never taken him in a daily. And it's probably my spite for it's been in the best ball chat that we all faded him, and now he's just killing us all. So...
Oh, Ben jumped on a Mets stack there. So we are going to go ahead and I think position scarcity too, just the way the outfield's playing today. I think Springer is probably feels like the better pick here. Do you agree?
Yeah, I like it. And it's just, there's always when I think about like teams like that, I mean, you have Vlad, Bo, and then you can get any one of those guys. I mean, to me, Bo is like the Kirk. It's like the Chapman. I don't know. You can get so many of those guys that I feel fine with. I don't have to go Bo.
Right.
And I will stick to my fade of Bo.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't necessarily have to full fade or whatever, but like just in the context of this lineup, I think it makes more sense to go outfield. I'm just looking here. We do not have any projected or we just have projected lineups. We do not have any real lineups.
Nope.
Yet, right? Yeah, that's just a one overarching thing. Underdog gives away one of the best tools for all daily contests in their Twitter accounts. Follow those things, turn notifications on. I cannot tell you how many times I've been on the clock going phone shitter bro with the thing in my hand, and then I get a notification that Aaron Judge is out of the lineup, and I don't click on him because of that little pop-up notification. Just something to think about. Okay, what do we like in here? We got all the Texas guys put up. We could try and build out a little contrarian mini of the Dodgers game there, and then try and fall back on something as a one-off for the outfield. Who do you like out of these three?
Smith. And then I guess hope one of them falls, which I don't see why. Hey, you would take one.
Well, he can't. So that's a nice thing is he already had two infielders, so we knew we were going to get one of
that's why it's just like I guess if he takes one, that does us a favor. But
interesting. Muncie's got a 0 projection here. I mean, both these guys have been scorching hot.
I can check.
Oh, Ben's going onslaught Mets to be aware of. Love to see it. Who do you like, Muncie or Turner?
Let's go Muncie.
Muncie it is. Okay, we got Muncie. So now we're going outfield and SP. With the pitch count knowledge, does it change your mindset at all on outlooks on Garrett and Gray? Like, are we kind of just off?
I mean, if they're projected for that, I don't know what to expect. I mean, I'd like to believe the bat. That's my gut. That's what I use. I don't like to go against it because then at one point, why am I paying for it? You know what I mean? Or just projections in general. Like why go against them? You know, have like maybe I understand it, but I mean, if I might want to just DM Cardi and ask if this is specific, if this is right, because like 61 for Garrett and then 45 for Gray is
on pitch counts. Yeah, pitch count
both.
projections. Okay. For what it's worth, stochastic. I know you don't like that, but I subscribe to all models. I subscribe to all models so that we can bounce them off one another. They have John Gray projected higher than Tyler Anderson
for pitch count.
Just in general and straight out fantasy points, like as a raw projection, not.
Yeah, I don't know,
count.
man. I don't know what to expect. I don't know.
Strider, Bassett, Cobb, Gray, Anderson, Barrios in that order, and Strider and Bassett are like 5 points ahead of Cobb, and then the Cobb tier is like Cobb, Gray, Anderson, Barrios are just all bunched together. And then that Nelson guy is deeper than that. Okay, so what do we like? Outfield one-off here, or do we want to go back to the well with this pick right here? I think that is the pick.
With the stack too, yeah, for sure.
I think that is the pick for us there.
Man, I got nothing on John Gray's pitch count. I just want to make sure that's known. Like, I can't find out thing.
Okay.
So
let's see. Ben's saying here, he says Atlanta been going dirt cheap all day. I understand it's San Fran versus Cobb, but it's projected over 70% humidity. Oh. Yeah, park mitigates wind, but the wind's blowing out. Yeah, I mean, it's the classic. Nobody's ever going to fault you for building Atlanta, and if you're building multiple lineups out here, you should be incorporating some Atlanta and some Atlanta stacks because they just have bats that ruin every single slate. Regardless of where they're playing, who they're playing against, they have that upside. Okay, who do we like here? Rogers we can't take, so it's either Garrett or Gray, and I guess we're going with our boy.
Let's go with Gray. Yeah, let's go with Gray.
All right. Yeah, I like it. Oh. I like it. I like it that we talked him up a little bit coming off the IL. We talked him as the skeleton key. Him and Teoscar as the skeleton key we joked about, and now we end up with a lineup with both of them in it, and that feels fun. That feels real fun to me.
Yeah, to touch on that, I think one of my highest exposed teams. I'm just trying to pull it up. Yeah, I have a lot of Dodgers. I have a lot of Dansby right now, just because he seems to be falling. So.
Oh, sorry. You said you have a lot of Dodgers.
Sorry, Dodgers, Braves. I don't know why. I'm literally looking at Dodgers, and I said that, and I keep getting all these freaking NFL season-ending injury news right now. My goodness.
Why? Who's
Derek Barnett, torn ACL, out, and then Kyle Fuller for the Ravens, torn ACL.
Oof.
Yikes.
All right. I got to. You want to try and do one more here? If we jump in, we jump in. Or are you good, Numi?
I do got to dip out here.
All right. So let's call it there today.
Yeah.
Let's call it there today.
I got to dip out, get some stuff done, so I can get back and hopefully start hammering up.
Start doing some more drafts. All right, let's hit a little outro here. All right, appreciate y'all being here. This was a lot of fun. Yumi, good takes, nice lineups this weekend. Hopefully one of us ships that Monday night or ships this moonshot, and we could talk more about it tomorrow or the following day. And subscribe. That's what the streamers say, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say be aware for when this contest drops if you're going to be hammering the thing, because with the amount of injuries and possible, there could be a quick ADP to take advantage of. So be aware of this early contest drops and maybe mark down, just basically kind of see who's projecting early well, but then also just injuries and who could potentially take advantage or still play and they're just expecting them to be out. So week 2 is one of the overreaction weeks. So getting ahead on that, people will be immediately thinking what they just saw and think that's gospel for the entire season. So
yeah, can't wait for that Saquon 101 ADP, right? But I think that's just a great point in general that you made, Numi. It's just like, hey, when these contests drop, like you may never see value like that again. So be wary of when they're going to drop. And in general, I think this contest for week 2 will drop either right at kick of Monday Night Football or first thing tomorrow morning. So just be mindful and don't be afraid to just look through the ranks one time and fly blind and just trust your instincts when building a team, because we talked about how we like to build our very first DFS teams without even looking at projection models, without even looking, and just, hey, go with your gut. And you don't have to enter that team necessarily, but just, mentally run through it here and just draft a team based off the rankings in your mind, and then just go, okay, where are spots of leverage right now? And then as we get more information and the news goes on, blah, 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 we'll just talk through it all week.
Yeah, I love it. I love exactly what you did there. Perfect. Beautiful. Well said.
All right. All right, we're out. Everyone. Yeah, that was it for the Badge Bros. Later, boys.